Yo, Pierre, you want to come out here?
All right, let's get this show on the road. I'm here in the studio today with my good friend, Jack Borsten. Jack's been with us for 4 years now. He's been coming up through the ranks really quickly, and I'll just quickly go through some of his accolades as we normally do to start the show. In his rookie year, he had an impressive 225 sales, earning him the 2021 Top Rookie Award. Then he came back and did how many sales? I actually don't have it here.
Last year?
Yeah.
Last year, we finished her off with 278.
278. Okay. And so you've done over 500,000 in revenue throughout your career so far. And do you have a goal for this year that you want to fill us in on?
Yeah. I know there's been a lot of talk, some pretty ambitious goals. For myself, number one thing for me is just always getting better. So I'm going into this season, knock as many doors as I can, and I want to finish with about 400,000 revenue sold.
Very nice. That'll be awesome. And so, guys, the purpose of the podcast today is more so focused on rookies. We want to give you guys the tools to go out there and sell. Now, when you show up in correlation, your sales managers are going to give you a lot of really good advice on how to structure your pitch. And it might be a little bit overwhelming. And the time from when you leave the office to when you get to territory can be the most nerve-wracking. So hopefully you can have this in your ears and we can have an absolute stud, Jack, give us a little bit of insight as to how he structures his pitch.
Pun intended.
Yes. So if you'll close your eyes and imagine with me, It's a beautiful day, early in May, right? We're about to go out there. We're hitting our first door. A little bit of nerves, right? It's a nice neighborhood. There's lots of trees. Maybe it backs onto a ravine.
All right.
How do I pick the first house I'm gonna knock?
Yeah, great question. So obviously, whole way up to area, you shouldn't just be napping or, going on your phone looking social media. You're prepping yourself. You're getting in the head game.
Yeah.
Big part of that is planning out your approach to your area. Things I always like to look at when I'm going out there is one, I'm going to look at the dot map. I'm going to see where is the existing third party. It's my first day in that neighborhood. I don't have any sales there yet. I haven't touched down. I'm going to be looking for, who have we sold in the past? Who's already out there? Because as you all know, the most important thing we have out here in this job, the best tool in your sales tool belt is third party. People want to do what people they know are doing. So if you can go out there, start knocking the houses near the existing clients, reference that, have some credibility. Best way to get off hot. Other thing I'm going to look for are the conducive conditions. So like you said, right, we're managing some trees, we're backing onto a ravine. Better chance than not, the house that's right backing onto the creek has a lot of trees on it, is right onto the golf course. They're probably going to have a little bit more activity. Now, all those houses will still get it, but I'm going to be starting for the ones that are going to have the most conducive conditions.
And maybe just as you guys are driving and maybe listening to this and you have that chunk of territory that's been scoped for you, Jack, what are we looking for? And maybe if you can map that to the pest that we have from that conducive condition.
Yeah, exactly. So, let's say you're looking at it and you got a big body of water. We're talking ponds, rivers, lakes. Out here in the Burlington office, we get to knock a lot of stuff on Lake Ontario. So anytime you're knocking your bodies of water, spiders, you're going to be getting a lot of spiders. Those big, nice houses got a bunch of webs on them. People hate that stuff. So they'll definitely get the service. If we're looking at, areas where on the map, you can see it's newer builds. It's more of a recent subdevelopment and there's a lot of sand. That stuff gets laid down over the clay or the bedrock before they build up.
Yeah.
That stuff gets ants everywhere, popping through the the driveways, the interlocks. Trees, you're going to be getting all kinds of critters, ants, carpenter ants especially, earwigs, spiders as well, wasps. If you're out in the forest, you're going to get everything, to be honest. It's going to be a lot.
Creepy and crawls, it'll be there.
Yeah. And then, big things too, like you're on the back of a golf course, you're on the back of a big field, even if you have construction nearby, right? It's one subdevelopment that's new builds. You're right onto another subdivision that's getting built in the process. Those areas get a lot of mice, get a lot of rodents that get kicked up, especially when it starts to cool down. So I'm going to be looking for those. And of course, when I'm talking to customers, I'm going to be including those conducive conditions in my pitch.
All right. So again, it's May. Let's say we're in a neighborhood that isn't too close to any body of water, but it's lots of big trees, kind of like an Oakville sort of vibe, but like north of the highway.
Right on.
And you go up to that door, you knock on it. And what does the first 30 seconds look like?
Yeah. So I'll give you a brief breakdown of it. How I go about it is I usually hit 5 steps. I hit my icebreaker, start the conversation. I don't want to just go right into my pitch, sound like a broken record.
Yeah.
Once I've kind of gotten the warmed up conversation going, I'm going to say basically the first three things on their mind: who I am, what I'm doing, why I'm there.
Yeah.
Right. Give them all the info. Until you give them that, they're not going to listen to anything you say.
Okay. And let's hear that. What does that sound like for us? So give me a knock. All right. I'll be your customer. Hey, man. What's up?
Hey, how's it going, man?
Not too bad. And you?
Living the dream.
Yes, sir.
I'll keep it really quick with you. I'm out here with Insight.
Okay.
I don't know if you guys know John right next door here.
Yeah, I've seen John.
Yeah, right on. And Mary right across the street over there.
Yeah, she's got that little dog.
Yeah. Thing doesn't stop yapping, but cute dog. I work for them. I'm their bug guy.
Okay.
Nothing too crazy. Just swinging by right now because we're going to be right next door here with John and over there with Mary Thursday. You know how it is out here, just because we're all built on that sand. Got a couple of these trees kicking around.
Yeah.
This time of year, it's the ants.
Okay.
Nothing too crazy. You're probably not seeing anything right now. But you know how it gets when it warms up, right? A couple of those guys start kicking through. So it's super simple. We're here Thursday. We're going to be out here working with them and about 3 others right on the block here. Because we're already here, we're literally right next door. If I can just back my truck up, we're doing it super cheap.
Yeah.
What's Thursday looking like for you guys?
Okay, so let's pause there. I love that pitch. And the reason why I like it is because it's not salesy. It's very you got a good pace to it. You're just like, hey, I'm just some reasonable guy that's out here, So where do you go after that? Is there a couple questions you're looking for? Are you trying to tease out some response from the customer there?
Yeah, for sure. Now you notice at the end I asked the question, what's Thursday looking like? That's what you'd call a soft close.
Yeah.
Reason I'm asking that is I want to get a response, based on how they kind of gauge there. If they're like, yeah, I'm here Thursday. Wait, what do you guys do? Or they say, nope, I'm not here. Never been here on Thursday in my life, kind of how severe it is. You're going to get an idea of, okay, this is someone who's interested. I can kind of take a more of assumptive approach. They're already into it. They're warm. Whereas if I can kind of tell they're a bit colder, maybe a bit more standoffish, I know I have some more trust to build, some more walls to break down, some more value to build. So that's going to give me an idea of how I'm going to go.
Okay.
From there, I want to start asking questions. I'm going to do what I'm calling intelligence gathering. Reason for that is everyone thinks a good sales pitch is how well you talk. It's about being, a silver-tongued devil. It's not. It's about being a good listener and, engaging in a good conversation, a back and forth.
Yeah.
So I'm going to ask questions to get them talking, to get them thinking, to get them giving me information so I can tailor the pitch to them. And so it can go from a presentation to a two-sided conversation where we're both actually thinking and getting the ball rolling.
Yeah, that monologue that we can get stuck in sometimes is that's the death of a lot of sales reps, especially when we get frustrated.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Okay, so we've given our intro and we say, hey, are you around on Thursday? And I'm like, yeah, it depends on the day, but sometimes I'm around on Thursdays. Yeah.
Right on. And obviously with us, we keep it really easy for you. You don't actually need to be home for anything we're doing. Like with John and Mary and everyone else we're getting done, we're just doing the exteriors. Reason is this time of the year, it's obviously still a bit early, right? You're not seeing anything too crazy, right?
Yeah.
What everyone's getting is just a couple ants once it heats up a bit. You know how those guys get. It doesn't matter what you do for them. They just keep coming back.
Well, I mean, there's nothing you can really do for them, right? They're everywhere.
100%. And that's exactly what I was talking with John about. He's pretty much pulled out every last strand of hair dealing with these guys. Was just telling him, though, actually what we are doing. And he thought it was a pretty cool idea. Main thing right now is we're going to be treating the exteriors here, right?
Okay.
With these mulch beds you have out front, do these go around to the side and the back?
Yeah, actually, I'm probably going to put some new mulch on it this year.
Right on.
Yeah, just around the side and near the pool in the back there.
Right on. And you said you have the pool in the back as well, eh?
Yeah.
Right. Is that like interlock around the pool or is that going to be concrete or?
It's just a cement,
Cement.
Yeah.
Okay. Right on. Reason I ask is, and then I'll put a pause there. So what I've done here is I've tried to ask some questions, get them talking, give me a bit of information. I know they have mulch going around. I know they have a pool in the back now. And I've also kind of washed out that ants is what they do get. He's tried dealing with them before and he's just kind of in doubt that anything can work for them.
Yeah. And what do those conducive conditions represent? So mulch bed first and then maybe the pool.
So mulch beds for any gardeners at home, anyone who knows that, that stuff's great for gardening, absorbs and retains a whole lot of moisture. But for bugs are moisture driven. They like anything that's warm and wet, so they love the mulch. Ants especially. So when you got mulch that goes around the house, more likely than not, that's going to be a quick scoot up for those ants to then make a way through cracks and crevices in the foundation, make their way towards the home, or even from there around the property. With the pool, why I asked what's around it, interlock or concrete, a lot of people will get ant hills around the pool because, again, it's close to a moisture source. So that's going to help me give information about what I want to focus on, how I want to tailor it. If they have a pool, there's usually other little bits you can find from there. I find people with pools tend to get a bit more wasps. Wasps use some of the water there to help build the nests.
Yeah.
So just giving me information about their house so I can tailor it in my approach to them, give me more information to know what to focus on and how to relay it back into creating and meeting the need.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So now for the people listening, especially if you're a rookie, I want you to visualize your sales pitch as a tree. And when we first knock on someone's door, that's the tree trunk. That's right off the bat. And the customer I was being was a fairly cooperative customer, fairly open, happy to talk, right? And that's one branch of that tree that we could go down, right? Now there's a few other ones. Maybe, like you said earlier, I just say, look, man, I talk to you guys every year. What do you want? Right? And maybe I'm that kind of guy. So, and then, maybe they're just lying to you like, oh, I've never seen a bug in my life, right? So there's all these different branches it can go down. And so maybe let's look at what another branch of that intro would be. So again, the first one, guys, I was nice. I was like, yeah, everyone's got ants around here, of course, right? So now, again, we'll go back to when he asked me, are you around on Thursday? So
for sure.
I'll be a little bit more mean this time. Okay?
Cool.
So I'll be like, probably not. I mean, I'm always running around.
Yeah, I hear you. Staying busy. And honestly, I'm pretty busy right now too. Good thing with us, you don't need to be here Thursday, right? We're busy, you're busy. So we don't want to make you have to run around chasing your tail for us.
Yeah.
All that's going on Thursday though, like with John and Mary, is we're just doing the exteriors. Did anyone kind of tell you what's going to be going on Thursday?
No, but like, what do you guys do? Like, what are you selling?
Yeah. So it's really simple with us, right? What I do for all the neighbors is I take care of the pest control. So no one's got any problems. It's not extermination. It's just maintenance. So you know how out here, right? Because we're right on the lake. We got quite a few of the trees out here. Heats up. Obviously everyone gets a couple spiders here and there, couple ants, right? Normal stuff, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
For you guys, is it typically few more of the ants or the spiders a little bit more common for you?
I mean, honestly, like we don't really get that much activity. I mean, I just kind of do it myself when I see something.
Perfect. So when you do see stuff, you tend to treat it yourself, right?
Yeah. I try to stay on top of it,
Right on. And honestly, good on you, man. Makes you one of the smart ones out here. You got to do something for them, right? It's obviously everyone gets bugs for got all the trees around. One thing you're going to like as well, I know with John, he likes to battle these guys himself. He usually uses a lot of those little pucks from Home Depot. You know those ones?
Yeah.
Those are a great start, and you're definitely going to want to keep using them. Thing he really liked about us, though, I was telling him, is that we do the granulation. Have you heard about that?
Okay, I'll pause you right there. So I love what Jack did there. And part of that was not battling the customer and not saying, oh, well, what you're doing doesn't work, or, belittling them. He was like, that's awesome. So tell me about why you did that.
Yeah. And the main reason is, to quote Tim Mulcahy, who you're going to get quoted a lot out here, is you win the argument, you lose the sale.
Yeah.
You never want to butt heads with the customer. You never want to disagree with the customer. So one good rule of thumb I use there is when you're dealing with those kind of initial smoke screens, not the full blown concerns, but the initial little bit of, I don't need your product because of this.
Yeah.
I don't need to do it because of this, is what I'm going to say instead is it's the yes and rule. So a lot of reps have the habit of saying when people say, oh, I take care of it myself, or, oh, it's too expensive, or they give you an excuse, they're going to say, yeah, but the reason it's expensive is because we're doing a really good job and the products are great. Or if they say take care of themselves, yeah, but obviously it's not going to work as well because we're using the professional stuff, right? They say, but they negate what the other person said. When you say, and you're building off of it. So you said you take care of it yourself. That's awesome. Great job. You're one of the smart ones out here. You're clearly taking a step in the right direction. Another thing you're going to love about what we do, and I'm adding on to it. We're on the same page. We're in agreement here. Because what you're doing, what I'm doing, work together. And that way it's a cooperative sale and a cooperative discussion. So I love that. So now, again, so just to go back to our tree analogy, we've gone down two different branches. The first one was an agreeable customer. Second was a little bit more standoffish. And you'll even notice, and this might be a little advanced for rookies, but your cadence picked up a little bit. You started speaking faster, more certain. With the tone of your voice. And those are things we'll get to. But to keep things really simple, again, we're doing our intro. And we're looking for one of a few questions, what are you doing? How much is it? That sort of thing. And so now take us through where we're going into after we get that initial opener and we start to get some dialogue with the customer. What's my goal? Where am I going? Yeah. And really where I'm going is, with the sales cycle, as we know, the next part is creating need and meeting need. And in other words, the value building part of the sale. Without value, you're not going to have a sale. The value is essentially why they should buy it, why they should make a change. So what I'm going to try and go from here is get them to open up a bit, get a bit more conversational, get a little bit of info. So I know, for instance, to focus on the interior or the exterior of the home, to focus on activity or prevention, to focus on this bug or that bug, to focus on if they're grossed out by bugs and don't like bugs, or they don't like what they do to their property, and if it's more practical for damage. I'm going to find out how to tailor it.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to create a need.
Okay.
So there's a bunch of different ways you can do that based on the client you're speaking to, based on the activity, based on the neighborhood, based on all the intelligence you've gathered from this pitch and your previous pitches.
Okay, I like that. So let's go back in time to the start of our pitch. So we're going to knock on the door and let's go through that. I'll be a fairly agreeable customer just so we can see what that process looks like and how it manifests.
So starting from the top?
Yeah, so let's run with it. And then we can get kind of a more full demo of what that sales cycle looks like.
Love it.
All right. Hey, man, what's up?
Hey, how's it going, man?
It's going all right.
Yeah, I hear you. I'm just being boring and busy myself. Keep it super quick with you. I actually work with, you guys probably know John right next door here.
Oh, yeah.
Right on. Do you guys know Mary right across the street over there?
Don't know Mary. No.
She's got the really big St. Bernard, things like half bear, I swear.
Oh, yeah. I think I've seen him on the street.
Yeah, that guy scared me when I first saw him.
Yeah.
But yeah, I work for them. I'm their bug guy.
Okay.
Just here with insight. We're going to have the truck here on the street Thursday. Maybe you heard from a few of the neighbors.
Yeah, bug guy? What do you mean?
Yeah, so nothing too crazy. You know how it gets out here, right? Just with the trees, the lake right on the back here, and just we're backing onto a ravine. You know, it's basically a forest. Everyone tends to get a couple of those ants. Or up in the eaves, like a few spiders, a few wasps here and there.
Yeah.
Nothing too crazy. You honestly probably aren't seeing anything right now. It's pretty early in the year. But everyone just has us out Thursday, just getting a head jump on the summer before it heats up a bit. Since we're literally right next door here with John, we're getting about 10 others done that same day. We're doing it super cheap that day.
Yeah.
What's Thursday looking like for you?
Well, I got to take the kids to soccer, but I think I'll be around. But what do you guys actually do? Like, is it?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, really what everyone has it out here for is we're just doing the exteriors that first day, right? It's going to start heating up, and that's when you're going to start getting a couple of these bugs here. With you guys, is it mainly the ants, like, you know, everyone gets out here, or do you also get like a couple spiders, especially up in like the eaves here?
Well, yeah, I feel like everyone gets a couple of the spiders, right?
Exactly.
Like,
yeah. Normal stuff, nothing too crazy.
Yeah.
What we're going to actually be doing here, it's really simple. We come out seasonally, so spring, summer, fall, winter.
Okay.
And what we do for all the neighbors here is we just take care of the property so these guys aren't going to keep on being a nuisance. So you know how like with spiders, you'll usually get the webs just up around the windows here, up in the eaves, right?
Yeah. I just power wash, every couple months.
Right on. Good. You got to, keep the house looking sharp. And obviously what everyone knows is it's not too crazy. It's just a bit of a pain, having to go out there in the PJs at night, cleaning off the webs, looking like a haunted house in July. It's not something anyone really wants. Other thing with the spiders too is you see like right up here in the eaves, those little white dots right around the corners there.
Okay, yeah.
So that's spider poo. It's a little acidic, so it's super tough to actually clean up. So neighbors get me here just because it's better to get this stuff out of the way before it becomes annoying. My guy comes out once every 3 months, big brush. Gonna go around and actually clean all the webs off for you, take down the wasp nest, and we'll put some product up top just to help keep them away for you long term. Yeah. And that's really just why everyone's getting it done, just so you don't have to keep battling these guys. Other than that, everything on the outside, it's all covered. Okay. Now, you don't need to be home for what we're doing. I assume like there's no reason Thursday couldn't work for you. Yeah. Right on.
So how much is something like that? Like, do they pay like monthly or something like that? Or?
Yeah. So we make it really easy for you. A lot of these other companies are going to try to, get you to charge the year up front, or they're going to rope you into like a 2 or 3 year deal. I keep it really easy. I want to earn your business. Right. So what we're going to do here is we'll come out once every 3 months and we'll charge you after each visit. Okay. How we price, it's super easy just based on the size of the house. Square footage. Are you guys like similar size to John over here?
Yeah, I think it's like 2,000-ish. Yeah, maybe a little under that.
Right on.
Okay.
Reason I need to know the size is just the bigger the house, more product we're going to use, right? Because those ants you're mentioning as well. Okay. Right. Yeah. Those guys get a bit frustrating.
Yeah.
Is it usually just the really teeny tiny guys or the bigger black ones?
A couple of years ago was the bigger ones, but like now I think it's just like, I would say small. I don't really know what small is, but probably small.
Like the ones like that kind of cluster, like really teeny tiny, you get on the kitchen counters.
Yeah. There's none right now, but usually I put like a puck, those things you get from Home Depot, and good stuff. They're gone after a couple of weeks. So
for sure. And it's kind of like more or less each year, kind of this time of year, you'll put the puck out. They're here for a couple weeks to kind of go away. Same time each year.
Yeah, I'd say it's probably right. Yeah.
And that's normal. And that's what's usually going to happen when you do the like Home Depot stuff is because what you're getting is you're getting a few of the scouts, but you're not really going to be getting the source.
Okay.
That's their hatching season. So you're seeing a few. Once it warms up, they're going to kind of go off and do their own thing anyways, but you're going to keep getting them each year.
Okay.
So what a lot of the neighbors like about us and what they're going to be giving us a shot on Thursday is we're going to be working to break these cycles, actually get the hatching cycles displaced. So that way we're going to get the source, not going to be seeing these jokers anymore.
Yeah.
So we do it really well for you. We treat up top for the spiders and wasps. We spray around the base of the home. So crawlers like spiders, ants, earwigs, anything that's creepy and crawly, it helps keep out.
Yeah.
And then we're going to do some interior treatments once it cools down just to break up nesting. So,
But how much actually is it though? Like how much do I pay?
yeah, for sure. So telling John here, same thing. Normally house your size, it's going to be about $319 per visit. So each time we're here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So a little over $1,200 on the year. And again, that covers you for the spiders, the ants, the wasps. Really, if it's creepy and it crawls, we take care of
That
it.
seems a little bit expensive though.
Yeah, absolutely. And the reason is we're obviously using the best quality products. All of our technicians are professionally trained. So we're getting this job done as well as we can for you.
Okay.
So if you call us online, you get it done later in the summer. That's what we charge. But like I said, I'm literally right next door here Thursday. So it saves me a lot of time and gas. If it's not a huge inconvenience and I can get you in right after I do John here, I'll get you the same deal I did him. We're actually knocking $100 off each visit.
Oh.
So it's going to be about $400 off on the year total. So it's just $219 each time we come out. So it's pretty cheap.
Okay.
Most importantly, anything comes back in between, it's guaranteed. You just give us a call. We'll come take care of it for free for you. Get out here in a week or so. But I noticed as well, like I know John has the pool shed out in the back. Do you guys have anything like that too?
Yeah, just a shed, like a detached garage sort of thing, and
Oh, right on.
a small shed way by the back fence. But I
Do you really care about it?
Yeah, I don't go in there.
Well, no point in dealing with that then. But I'll tell you what, with the detached garage, when my guy's out here, after we do the house, you want him to treat the shed for free for you?
It doesn't cost anything extra to get that done.
No, I can just throw it in, just as long as you don't mind getting it done in the morning right after I do John.
Okay, I think I can be here in the morning. Yeah.
Yeah. Perfect. So I'll get you in for there. Do you mind just keeping the kids and the dogs inside while we do the outside? Then you can let them back out later.
That should be all right. Yeah.
Perfect. I'm Jack, by the way.
Mateo.
Reach across. Fingertip handshake.
Okay, that's lights out. Like, I mean, it doesn't get much better than that. So huge shout out. That's
Thank you.
incredible.
Thank you.
Now, granted, guys, a lot of your customers aren't going to be that inviting and willing to share information, but it's good to get a sense of the entire cycle.
For
and
sure.
A few things I'll point out there. He mentioned third party a few times, so he dropped the reason the neighbors are doing this and stuff like that. It didn't sound salesy, right? He did a little bit of an anchor, right, by saying it's normally this much, and he let it sit for a little bit. It's really tempting to just say it's $1,200, but today, you know, like
For a
an
limited
infomercial.
time.
Yeah, right. If you call now, so he didn't do that, and you'll notice he never said, "Do you want this? Yes or no." So why didn't you say that?
Well, when you put it in such blatant kind of awkward terms, you make it just a yes or no. These aren't really thought-provoking questions, and it's really easy to just say no. I don't know about you guys. I actually caught myself doing this the other day where sometimes you're walking down the street, there's someone peddling for, you know, a donation or trying to donate to a charity or to hear about a subscription. And sometimes you don't even actually consider what they're saying. You don't really consider the offer, but you just instinctually kind of say no. Right? We all just kind of have these guards built up, and it's easy to say no because it's easier to say no than to actually consider a proposition. When you phrase it in ways where you're giving them, for instance, option A or option B, but both are, you know, feasible.
Yeah.
Or you're phrasing it in a way where it's like, you wouldn't be like completely opposed to something like this. Or would you like me to throw something in for free? What you're doing is you're creating a question that takes the pressure of a yes or no out of it. When I say, so do you want to do it? Yes or no? And I'm sitting there looking in the eyes waiting.
It's awkward. Yeah.
It's awkward. It's pressure. You're just like, oh no, stop looking at me.
Yeah.
So I just want to make it as easy for the customer to say yes and get something they want as possible, where there's no pressure and it doesn't feel awkward. It just feels seamless and smooth.
Yes, sir. And so in our last few minutes here, I'd like to cover, we've talked a little bit about closing. And if you guys listen back to this, you'll hear when he asks these questions, it's a soft close and they're getting a little bit harder each time he goes out. And again, if we go back to that tree analogy, each time he does a sales cycle and closes, we go down a different branch of that tree, right? And so as you go out there and you talk to people, you'll experience all the different interactions that are possible. But tell us a bit about soft closes, hard closes, and how we move between those throughout our pitch.
For sure. So the basic difference between a hard close and a soft close is a hard close depending on their answer, requires commitment. So if I say, hey, I got a spot in the morning, got the afternoon, what would you prefer? Right? Based on your answer, you're either going to say no to the sale or you're going to commit to it. If I say, hey, do you want me to throw the shed in for free for you? Yes. You're saying yes to the sale or no?
Yeah.
Perfect. What name should I put down here? Whatever it is, right? However I close it, it's a sale if they say yes.
Yeah.
Those are good and you have to use them to solidify the sale, but I don't like to throw those out too early personally. I know some guys are just right for the throw hard closing early and often. I don't like it. I feel awkward doing it personally. I find it throws up too much sales guard early on.
Yeah.
That's why I love soft closes. And I think one of the biggest changes for me in my rookie year when I really started to see production was soft closing early and often. What a soft close is it's more of a temperature check.
Yeah.
So you notice at the start of my pitch when I hit you with so are you guys even around Thursday?
Yeah.
Right? What I'm doing is I'm essentially seeing like, are you interested? How do you feel about this? And based on your response, I'm going to gauge my approach. But if he says no, it's like, it's not awkward. I didn't ask for the sale. I was just saying like, what's going on?
Yeah.
Soft closes are going to be a bit more hypothetical. So, like if this was something you guys were going to give a shot for, would it just be the ants you think you guys would want done? Or would there also be the spiders and wasps?
Yeah. And as a customer, I'm kind of like, well, I guess if I were to get this done, I would probably want all the insects.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So what I'm doing is I'm throwing hypotheticals in it. Like, do you think this could possibly be a good idea? Is this something like you'd want us to do this? Or do you think you'd probably rather this? I'm keeping it more hypothetical. Based on their responses, I'm going to, if I get a warm response, I'm going to go a little bit harder with my soft close.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's what you alluded to there is that I use a lot of soft closes and kind of finish with a hard close. I call it the rolling close where I start real soft. If I get a warm response, I'll come up with something a little bit harder, but still soft and kind of keep hitting them with soft closes and either flush out the objection to deal with it and then go cycle back, or just keep using the soft closes, let them progressively get harder and harder until finally I'm just saying, perfect, what's your name? How do I write it?
Yeah, yeah. And by the way, always break eye contact, of course, when you get their
Look
name.
down.
And it was awesome when he stuck out his hand. It was awkward because we're at the
Yeah, a
table
little
with the
far,
mics.
fingertip handshake.
But when you execute that well in person, that's so lights out, right? It's like,
Oh, you hear
the deal is closed.
Hear the clasp. It's perfect.
And everyone feels good because as soon as that happens, the pressure's off. And a lot of the times, if you have a customer who is saying, oh, I don't have bugs, I don't have this, I don't have that, they will all of a sudden say, oh, I have all these things. And they start
the amount of
off.
times I've talked to someone and say, hey, look, I've been here my entire life. I've never seen a bug once. And then 10 minutes later, again, I get wasps here and I get ants here. And then this is where the mice was eating our groceries. It's like, reps make too big of a pattern and common mistake of taking too literally what the customer says early on. People don't show their cards usually until like you've really warmed them up. So just because someone says they don't have any bugs, just because someone says initially they're not interested, just because someone says initially they take care of themselves, that doesn't mean that that's absolutely where they're going to be.
Yes, sir.
Talking to people, building value, warming them up. Maybe they stay that way and you leave it, or maybe you can actually kind of warm them up to the idea. And when a sale's made, I've never had a sale where me and the customer aren't both happy. When you shake hands and you have the sale, it's a good time for both people.
Excellent. Well, we're right at the end of our time here. So thank you for listening, guys. Shout out to this guy here. I mean, we're going to see a great summer.
Super hyped.
Really excited for those of you that Jack's managing. You guys are going to get to ask him all these questions. But, ask all your sales managers this stuff. They'll give you a lights out pitch like he did. They'll describe soft closes and hard closes. But when you go out there on your first day, my piece of advice is if you find all this overwhelming, just try to have good conversations. Try to have long conversations, not a half hour sitting there talking to someone. But if you can have a good conversation for 5 minutes with someone, that's good progress, right? If you find you're just getting shut down quick, just try to talk to people. Take the pressure off yourself, get a good conversation going, and then start to work in that sales so it's not as awkward.
100%.
Yes,
All
sir.
I'd add is stack your wins, right? To start, focus on what you can control. So, if you knock a certain amount of doors, you're talking to a certain amount of people, celebrate those. Like you said, if you're having long convos, you're making people smile, you're leaving the conversations and they're in a better mood than when you found them. Celebrate those. Focus on the little inputs you can control, length of conversation, amount of conversation, doors knocked, effort that you put in. And if you put in the inputs, over time, the outputs are going to follow. It's not a matter of if, but when.
Yes, sir. And on that note, we'll wrap it up. Thanks, guys.